Ornate keys used to unlock church doors, and that's why openers are often called church keys.
This is CBC Radio 1, 990 AM, 89.3 FM in Winnipeg.
Hi, I'm Matea Roach, and I'm hosting CBC's new literary show, Bookends. Every week, I'm going to talk to writers from Canada and from around the world about their work, the world, and our place in it. Our conversations will be unpredictable, insightful, and can lead anywhere. And I'm going to follow them wherever they take me, because when the book ends, the conversation begins.
Bookends with Matea Roach, Sunday afternoon at 1:30 in Newfoundland, 3 Pacific, and on demand on CBC Listen.
You know the feeling of finding a really good podcast? Or the feeling of someone always being there, like your favorite radio show. Stream CBC Podcasts, CBC Music, and CBC Radio.
This is CBC News. At 12 o'clock, we're at 20 degrees with mostly cloudy skies over downtown Winnipeg. Good afternoon, I'm Matt Humphrey. Manitoba Cabinet Minister Ian Bushy violated provincial ethics rules when he allowed his grocery store to renew its contract with the provincial government in April. That ruling came today from Provincial Ethics Commissioner Jeffrey Schnoor. Bushy owns a gas station and convenience store at Hollow Water First Nation. Schnoor calls Bushy's contravention unintentional, and the commissioner recommends no penalties. Bushy says he canceled the contract the day the opposition PCs brought it up. He also says he's selling his business.
Being part of this team means being accountable. Selling my business shows my unequivocally commitment to my role on this team. It is important that I show that I'm taking full responsibility for what has happened here, and I want to be able to assure Manitobans that they have trust in government across all of our caucus.
Bushy says the decision to sell was his alone. The NDP kicked Mark Wasiliu from caucus this week, partly due to his work as a lawyer. The Southern Chiefs organization is taking the province and Manitoba Hydro to court over the treatment of Lake Winnipeg. SCO is launching a charter challenge and wants the lake declared a living being with rights and protections. It says decades of poor management of the lake has led to its decline. Elder Emery Stagg from Dauphin River First Nation says he's watched it happen. He's watched the decline.
I could eat the fish from Lake Winnipeg. I could find medicine from Lake Winnipeg. I could eat moose, other animals that drink Lake Winnipeg water. I could swim in Lake Winnipeg. I could drive my boat around in Lake Winnipeg. I would never run out of water. Today, the lake is dying.
SCO says projects affecting Lake Winnipeg need more rigorous and frequent environmental assessments and more Indigenous involvement in those assessments. CBC has asked Manitoba Hydro for a response. Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham doesn't agree with sanctioning encampments as a way to manage homelessness. The city of Hamilton has a number of protocols and regulations around encampment sites as a way to make it safer for people living there. During CBC's Information Radio, Gillingham was asked what he thought of the idea.
We want to end homelessness, not just manage it. And so I would rather us be putting our efforts into getting more housing built and getting people into housing with wraparound supports. We're focused on that rather than be looking at moving to sanctioned encampments. I'm not in favor of that at this point.
Gillingham says they're working on getting encampments garbage collection and emergency service access. He says tomorrow he will meet with the minister responsible for the file and discuss efforts to end homelessness. Justin Trudeau is losing his Quebec lieutenant.
I am announcing that I have decided to enter the race to become leader of the Quebec Liberal Party, where it all began for me.
Transportation Minister Pablo Rodriguez says he's resigning from the Liberal cabinet and from the Liberal caucus.
I have also decided to sit as an independent MP until the launch of the leadership campaign next January. This is in order to avoid a costly by-elections a few weeks or months before a general election.
Rodriguez says his priorities are no longer the same as those of the Liberal government. His resignation comes as the federal Liberals lost a by-election in Montreal in what had been a safe Liberal seat. It was a third straight by-election lost by the party. Hassan Nasrallah, the senior leader of Hezbollah, says this week's attacks in Lebanon are an Israeli declaration of war. Nasrallah spoke publicly today in the wake of the attacks, which saw pagers and walkie-talkies detonated across the country, killing at least 37 people. Sasha Petrusik reports.
He was making a case that these two events, what he calls the Tuesday massacre and the Wednesday massacre, did have a huge impact not only on Hezbollah, but also on Lebanon itself. He blames Israel for it very, very clearly. He said that these were hard days of trial, but the organization would not be broken and that they would come out of it with their heads high. He also said that the fight would continue until there is peace in Gaza. There were two loud sonic booms over Beirut itself. Israeli jets that were obviously trying to make themselves heard, and I'm sure the timing was no coincidence. They have not actually struck anything in the south during his speech, but they did earlier today, and that conflict did continue even this morning. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Jerusalem.
And finally, here at home, Winnipeg police are clearing the scene at St. Boniface University. The St. Boniface campus was evacuated just after 8 this morning over a suspicious package. Classes were canceled for students and staff. The bomb squad was called in and has determined since that the package was harmless. There's no word yet if classes will resume today, but we will have more updates for this story as it develops. Right now, you're listening to CBC Radio 1. For news anytime, you can head to our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba, or you can use the CBC News app. Taking a look at the day's forecast, in Winnipeg, a high of 22 today and mostly cloudy. Could see scattered showers this afternoon with a few sunny breaks. In Brandon, a chance of showers, a high of 19 degrees. Dauphin showers, the risk of thunder, a high of 19 as well. Flin Flon, a risk of thunder, a high of 20. Thompson, you're seeing a chance of showers and thunder, and you're looking for a high of 20 degrees. And in Churchill on the Bay, a high of 20 with a chance of showers. Right now, you're listening to 990 AM, 89.3 FM.
Hello, Manitoba. You're listening to Radio Noon on CBC Radio 1, 89.3 FM in Winnipeg, 101.5 FM in Grand Rapids, 95.7 FM in Peguis. I'm Emily Brass, your host this week on Radio Noon, and I should mention we're also broadcasting live on our CBC Manitoba YouTube channel. Here's what's coming up on today's show. Fall is just 3 days away. Maybe you're looking at updating your wardrobe with the change of season. Winnipeg fashion designer Leonard Taylor unveils his new collection tonight, and he hopes you'll choose clothing that's high quality and local. He'll join us in studio and take your questions on fashion and how to make your wardrobe more sustainable. We're also going to hear about the Teulon Pumpkin Fest and what's happening there. But first, more details on an Alberta company's $880 million plan to mine and process sand in Selkirk. 12:07 right now in Winnipeg. The temperature is 19 degrees. Over in Gimli, 22 degrees. In Gillam, you're looking at 16 degrees right now. Flin Flon is sitting at 18, and in Morden, 18 degrees. The province and the federal government plan to put up to $272 million towards helping Canadian Premium Sand set up shop in Selkirk. The Calgary-based company plans to mine sand at a surface quarry at Hollow Water First Nation. That's on the east side of Lake Winnipeg. And it plans to process it into glass for solar panels at a manufacturing facility in Selkirk. The total cost of the project is $880 million. Selkirk's chief administrative officer Dwayne Nickel told CBC's Bartley Kivas what the massive project could mean for that city.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a really important milestone. We've been working with CPS for a while now to secure the support of the province and the federal government, sending some letters and making sure that we had our ducks in a row to support that. But, you know, at the end of the day, this brings us that much closer to achieving the project. You know, right now with the amount of money that's going into being thrown at American firms, you know, in the States, this puts CPS on the kind of equal footing and makes sure that the building in Canada, in Manitoba, is a viable option. So I think they're really looking at this as an opportunity to leverage more private dollars and to get construction going in 2025.
How big? I mean, in terms of, let's say this builds out as intended. Will this be bigger than the steel plant for Selkirk? Will this be bigger than the mental health facility? Like, what kind of employer would this be in the scale of Selkirk?
So the direct jobs, a full build out for this initial plan here, what we have on tap is 270 direct jobs, and then there's a number of downstream jobs that are expected, but that the company can't provide estimates on that. They're looking at $320 million worth of annual sales. So it's a huge economic driver. In terms of net employment, just for direct jobs, the steel mill would still be a larger employer. But in terms of overall economic impact, it'll have a very comparable amount. To put this in perspective, this is the largest single private investment in our city's history, going back to the founding of the city, really. And relative to the time value of money, it'll be the largest investment in over 110 years into the city. The last largest one being the steel mill itself.
That was Selkirk's Chief Administrative Officer, Dwayne Nickel, speaking with CBC's Bartley Kivas. Glenn Leroux is president and CEO at Canadian Premium Sand, and he says his company must now raise the rest of the capital it needs to complete the project. Here he is telling Bartley why his company wants to do business in Manitoba.
The sand is what really is the genesis of this whole project. Manitoba is fortunate enough to have some very unique deposits of sand. Ours is got a quality for making glass that makes it quite valuable, and that is we can get the iron content down below 100 parts per million. What that facilitates is the ability to make what's called ultra clear glass, and that's what the solar industry uses. So if you buy a solar panel, a commercial size solar panel, or you drive by a solar farm, the glass on all of those panels is ultra clear. This deposit is not common. There's a few others in North America that can meet this quality, but the one that we have, located on Hollow Water's traditional lands up by Seymourville and Manigataugan, is unique. The entire capital requirement is in the range of $880 million. So that's exactly what you described. That's the quarry. The infrastructure to run the quarry. There's a road that has to be built, power has to be brought in, and then at Selkirk we've got to bring in power. But the land we have, that the city of Selkirk owns currently, and we have first right to, we have a deposit on it. It's perfect. There's rail service on the south boundary. The natural gas line is right next to the rail line, but we have to bring the rail spur into the property. We got to bring the natural gas into the property, and the hydro has to be brought in just shy of 2 kilometers. So what the province has offered, and I just want to be crystal clear, when these levels of government offer this type of support, it is always going to be conditional. And the key condition on any of this is that we raise the rest of the money. We make this a real project, and then the funds will be unlocked. So they're committed to allow us to go to the market and raise the money. So, but back to the sources. So the province has offered to take some of the infrastructure burden off of us. One of the key infrastructure burdens is the haul road, we call it. It's about a 7-kilometer long road that'll connect the quarry operation to 304. The federal government has put $100 million on the table of just to offset the equity requirement. We're in the process of the very detailed application for that, but they were comfortable enough with us to be able to publicize this. The other $100 million that is in that press release is related to a program that is just getting stood up. It's the Indigenous Loan Guarantee Program. It's very difficult for a lot of Indigenous groups to have a security function to back up a loan, particularly a loan of the size that is going to be meaningful to a project like ours to make this investment. So what the federal government has done is come up with a program that would act as security to that loan, and which facilitates their ability to go to a bank or other form of debt provider and allow them to take out a sizable loan, backstopped by the government, to invest in projects rather just like ours. So resource projects, energy projects, and ours, quite frankly, suits them very, very well. So that program, they believe, will be stood up in the coming months. But it's sophisticated. It's evolved enough that we were able to have some conversations with some of the Indigenous groups in Manitoba about investing, and the working amount right now is $100 million. Why that's important, you know, if someone like Hollow Water or MMF or another Indigenous group or a consortium of like Indigenous groups made a $5 million investment in an $880 million, I mean, it's quite frankly meaningless. So this gives them the ability to have a notable ownership position and influence, quite frankly, on the operation.
Glenn Leroux is president and CEO at Canadian Premium Sand, and he says it'll take about 2 years to get the operation up and running. For more on the story, head to our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba.
Massey Hall, the most iconic music venue in Canada. An absolute milestone in the careers of musicians who stand on the historic stage. And you have a front row seat. The Beaches, Charlotte Cardin, William Prince, Jeremy Dutcher, July Talk, and more. CBC Music Live at Massey Hall. Now available on CBC Jam.
Thank you, Toronto!
You're listening to Radio Noon on CBC Radio 1, 89.3 FM and 990 AM in Winnipeg, broadcasting out of Norway House at 1340 AM, Swan River 105.3 FM, and in Verdun 97.9 FM. We're also broadcasting live on the CBC Manitoba YouTube channel and the CBC Listen app. I'm Emily Brass, and here's what's still to come on the show. Chillier temperatures are in the forecast. Maybe you need some new clothes as we head into fall. Winnipeg designer Leonard Taylor will join us in studio to talk about his new collection, and we'll take your questions on fashion and how to skip fast fashion and find clothes that'll last. You can start calling in now, 204-780-0893, or you can text us at 204-588-7355. And also, are you looking for a big pumpkin for Halloween? Like a really big pumpkin? You might want to head to the Teulon Pumpkin Fest. We're going to find out about the pumpkin weighing contest and all the fun events planned for Saturday. That's coming right up. Right now, it is 19 degrees in Winnipeg, 18 in Thompson and Sprague. It's 23. Melita, 17. Island Lake, 20 degrees. For Winnipeg today, mostly cloudy, scattered showers this afternoon with a few sunny breaks. The high is expected to be 22, and it'll be breezy. Mainly cloudy tonight with a few scattered showers ending in the evening. Low 14, mainly sunny tomorrow with a high of 21. Well, the days are getting shorter and the leaves are starting to fall. If you're ready to celebrate the big shift to autumn, we've got the event for you. The Teulon Pumpkin Fest is happening this Saturday, and joining us over Zoom is the event's chairperson, Darcy Lomer. Hi, Darcy.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good. I'm really excited about Pumpkin Fest ever since I've heard about it. And of course, at the heart of this event are the pumpkins. Tell us about the big competition on Saturday morning.
So we have our gigantic pumpkin weigh off that starts at 10:30 in the morning, and we get pumpkins from growers all over Manitoba. And last year, they're well over 1,000 pounds. There'll be a lineup. So as the farmers bring their pumpkins and the gardeners bring their pumpkins, we weigh them. We have a huge, we need a forklift, and we have a team of men to move these pumpkins, get them on the scale, and then we reveal what all the weights are at 10:30 and present the winners. And it's interesting because sometimes the pumpkin that you think is going to be the heaviest it isn't. So it's really, it's fun to watch. And the pumpkins are there all day for everyone to view and see and take pictures with. So yeah, it's a highlight of our event.
And $1,000 for first prize, nothing to sneeze at. I can see why people would get up early and bring them in. And of course, another fun pumpkin-themed competition is one that tests people's appetites. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes. So we have the fair competition, and the fair competition is open to everyone. There's no cost to enter, and the prizes are $5 for first, $3 for second, and $2 for third. And you can enter as many items as you want. We have from the gardening categories, the most perfect pumpkin, to all of our baking categories, pumpkin pie. It's a very difficult task for our judges to have to, to have to pick all the winners. But we have canning categories, photography, crafts, floral arrangements. The boardroom in the hall is packed to the rim with people's creativity and culinary delights.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one of the culinary delights, I think, is pumpkin pies, and there's a pie eating contest even.
We have pie eating contest at 1:00, and it is so much fun. It's just grown into this epic event with so many people participating, young and old. We have different groups, and everyone gets a piece of pumpkin pie with lots of whipped cream. And yes, and the Lions Canteens is, of course, selling pumpkin pie all day long. So you can, if you don't want to enter the contest to eat it as fast as possible, you can savor it and just enjoy it as you're watching the entertainment.
Yes. And of course, you were talking about that fair competition. And, Pumpkin Fest is put on by the Teulon Ag Society, which is celebrating a milestone this year. Can you tell us about that anniversary and, how all those competitions are carrying on some traditions that go back generations in Teulon?
Exactly. So the Teulon Ag Society is so excited to be celebrating our 100th year. And it's amazing to see how, you go into our history books and looking at what the Ag Society meant to the community. It's a farming rural community. And the farmers would come together and support one another with farming techniques, but also competitions. Like they were sending young boys to Toronto for competitions in the 30s and 40s. Like it's, you'd think that these young kids are going by train to compete with their sheep and their goats and their chickens. And so the fair has always been a part of it where farm wives, families could bring their produce, could bring their wares and compete. So we have continued that tradition, and we're very proud of that. There's not a lot of small towns that are still doing the fair part of an ag society. And so this year, because it's our 100th anniversary, we started just a different category, an heirloom category, that we can bring in items that were made by loved ones or people that are no longer here, or that just, made this many years ago for their kids or their grandkids, so sewing and needlework and crochet and knitting. So we're hoping that people will bring in and remember those that came before us that kept this tradition alive for us all these years.
Wow. And so there are also craft demonstrations. What kind of crafts can people learn about at Pumpkin Fest?
Yeah. So we have Laverne Tucker from Last Dance Ranch, who's coming to do a looming presentation, and you can actually work a little bit on her loom, fiber looming. And it's a 100-year-old loom. She's just amazing and great demonstrator. And we also have Jane Sonnenberg, who won the Great Canadian Pottery Showdown on CBC. And she's going to have a pottery wheel there as well that you can throw and learn from one of the best in Canada.
Wow. And of course, let's not forget the entertainment. There are performances and things throughout the day for kids, for grown-ups. What else is on the lineup?
Yeah, so we have a really exciting lineup of entertainment for the whole day. So starting at 9:30 in the morning, right till 3:30 in the afternoon, everything from local musicians. Our Corey Chorsters are going to take the stage. We have a Prairie Wildlife Rehabilitation Center doing a presentation. We're going to have an awards and speeches for our 100th anniversary. We have a cutest baby contest, which is just very low key, but so much fun to see all the babies that come up for that one. We have Ukrainian dancers performing. We have Japanese drummers. We have a Flying Lion Chinese dance group. And then we finish the show with Sarah Tiekle's fabulous circus show. Like really, you can come for the whole day. You are entertained. There's a little bit of folklorama, a little bit of culture, and yeah, just celebrating fall.
Yeah. And how about the animals? I think there's some animals shows and other things.
Yeah, so we have a petting zoo that the kids can come and interact with a wide variety of animals. It's amazing what they bring. We also have a dog agility show that they do a couple performances near our kids tent. You will be entertained.
Sounds like it. Sounds like there's really so much. It's also very visual by the sounds of it, for families maybe looking for that perfect fall selfie. What kind of photo ops might there be?
Yes. So the photo ops is always a tradition, and it's kind of grown. So this year being the 100th, we're bringing up a 1954 Fargo half ton, and it's going to be full of bales and pumpkins. And we also have some really cool new signs that have been made so people can do photos with them. Lots of photo opportunities just to commemorate and remember the day. And it's interesting because we'll see people who post their memories and, watching your kids grow, watching the family dynamic changing. And now, these little ones that started, well, when I started, now the girls are volunteering and helping and help run the event. So it's been fun.
And, I'm sure a lot of people out here are listening and thinking, wow, I might have to head up to that. I mean, what kind of crowd comes to Pumpkin Fest? Where do people come from and what kind of people are there?
It's interesting. And I think that's what's lovely about Teulon. It's still a small town where everybody knows each other, but we get people from all over Manitoba, Winnipeg that come, and we welcome everyone to experience real small town charm. And we get, anywhere from like 1,500 people that will come, and we have it spread out in our hall, in a large field, in the school grounds. So it's never really congested, or people just kind of come and go and move throughout the day. And so yeah, we can welcome lots of people.
And before we let you go, we got to know, what do you do with the biggest pumpkin after the event?
That's a really good question, because we have Chris the pumpkin guy who comes and takes the pumpkins away, and they carve them and donate the funds to cancer care. So he's there. You can talk to him as well at the event, and the funds are going to a great cause.
Oh my gosh, this event just sounds better and better the more you speak. Darcy, we could talk about this all day. Thank you so much for joining us and letting us know more about Pumpkin Fest.
Thank you for having me, and I hope everyone will come and join us for a great fall weekend.
And have lots of fun and enjoy that pumpkin pie.
Thank you.
That was Darcy Lomer, chairperson of the Teulon Pumpkin Fest, and that's happening Saturday from 9 to 4 at the Teulon Hall.
It's finally the cozy season when everyone gets together and stays forever grateful for the loved ones they have. Put on my sweater and take out the better in me. Then they'll see that the season's about the feeling you get. watching movies, thanking God, and enjoying my pumpkin spice. And I will find that feeling everybody's looking for. When leaves change colors and hit the floor. Oh, I don't know everything, no, but one thing I do know for sure. Pumpkin pie by the fireplace. I feel your embrace. You're here with my pumpkin spice latte.
That was Evelina with a song for the fall season. It was called Pumpkin Spice Latte, and we're really celebrating the start of the fall season. You know it's coming on Sunday, the first day of fall. And with that change of season, you know, maybe you need some new clothes heading into fall. Winnipeg designer Leonard Taylor is going to join us in studio to talk about his new collection. He's going to take your questions on fashion and how to skip fast fashion and find clothes that'll last. The numbers to call. Get on the line now. Get ahead of the curve. 204-780-0893. 204-780-0893 or text us 204-588-7355. The news is next.
This is CBC News. At 12:30, we're at 20 degrees with mostly cloudy conditions in downtown Winnipeg. Good afternoon, I'm Matt Humphrey. The Southern Chiefs organization says Lake Winnipeg is dying and SCO is going to court over it. SCO Grand Chief Jerry Daniels says they'll take the province and Manitoba Hydro to court over poor management of the lake. And a Charter of Rights and Freedoms challenge will be launched to have the lake declared a living entity with rights and protections.
What would be an infringement on your rights as a human being? So if we consider the lake as a living entity, you would create all of those, a list of that. It'll create sort of a whole new discourse around law in Canada. And that'll help, I think, with how governance for the lake is going to be structured.
Daniels wants to see more frequent environmental assessments of Lake Winnipeg and projects affecting it. He also wants more Indigenous involvement in managing the lake. Manitoba Cabinet Minister Ian Bushy says he's selling his gas station and grocery store after the Provincial Ethics Commissioner ruled he violated the Ethics Act. Bushy allowed his business at Hollowwater First Nation to renew its contract with the provincial government in April. Ethics Commissioner Jeffrey Schnoor says that was against the rules, but recommended no penalties. Bushy says he canceled the contract the day the opposition PCs brought it up. He also says he's selling his business, even though he's not required to do so.
I take full responsibility for this mistake and this oversight. It was an error in judgment on my part, but I was wrong. I'm committed to fixing this and being accountable to all Manitobans and the confidence the public has in their elected representatives.
Bushy says the decision to sell was his alone. This week, the NDP kicked Mark Wasilliou from caucus, partly due to his work as a lawyer. And a senior minister of Justin Trudeau's Liberal government is resigning from cabinet and from the party's caucus. Pablo Rodriguez says he's going to run for the leadership of the Quebec Liberal Party. Kate McKenna has more.
I have informed the Prime Minister of a resignation as Canada's Transport Minister and Quebec Lieutenant, effective immediately. I have also decided to sit as an independent MP.
Longtime federal Liberal Pablo Rodriguez has his sights on leading the Quebec Provincial Liberals, announcing he's leaving cabinet and his caucus. Rodriguez says he'll sit as an independent, but denies that he's distancing himself from the Trudeau Liberals.
Because now I have the opportunity to set my own priorities. I was defending the priorities of the government in a very loyal way, and it's normal, and it's what I had to do. But now it's more about my vision, the vision of the team that I'm building.
It's the latest setback for the federal Liberals. Earlier this week, the party lost a by-election in Montreal in a traditionally safe area for Liberals. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
And for news anytime, you can head to our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba, or you can use the CBC News app.
Thank you, Matt.
Back soon.
That's CBC's Matt Humphrey joining us from the Manitoba Newsroom. You're listening to Radio Noon on CBC Radio 1, 89.3 FM in Winnipeg, 105.3 FM in Dauphin, 1490 AM in Cross Lake. And joining us now is our weather specialist, Riley Leitchuk. What's going on? It's getting sunny. It's like I forgot what it was like.
I know. It seems like it's been a long time.
Yeah. That was a long, dark, and wet stretch.
Yeah. A few scattered showers still moving through southern Manitoba and through the Westman region in particular. A couple scattered showers passing through Brandon. Few more to come yet in the next hour or so. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that I'll talk about very quickly in the Barrens River region into Grand Rapids under a watch right now. There's been some residual thunderstorm activity from some of those scattered showers, some scattered thunderstorms that we've seen over the last few days, still working its way through northern Manitoba. So we'll keep our eye on that. Otherwise, we're looking at really a mix of sun and clouds today with some scattered showers. I'm not talking a steady rain like we've seen past couple of days. We do get a break from that.
Okay, that's good. I can leave the umbrella at home for once.
We get a bit of a break. We'll see some isolated showers into the evening still tonight, I think. But as we get into the overnight period, and particularly into Friday through southern Manitoba, we really clear out and we're back to a mainly sunny sky. Even by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, we should be back into the sunshine here in Winnipeg at least. Still a few more showers moving through northern Manitoba through Friday. So a bit of a wetter day for places like Lynn Lake, for example, into Thompson, even as far north as the Hudson Bay coast could see a few showers tomorrow. And then the forecast modeling is indicating that we could see a few more scattered showers into Saturday. It remains to be seen if some of that actually materializes. Could or could not. It's kind of on the fence right now, depending on which models you're looking at. But be prepared. Early into Saturday, into the lunch hour, you could see a few scattered showers once again across the south. All sort of residual instability from this area of low pressure that moved through the past couple of days here. Today in Winnipeg, looking at 22 degrees, a few scattered showers. Otherwise, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for the afternoon. Brandon, mainly cloudy, some clearing as we get through the later part of the day through the west as well. Kenora, 23 degrees, and I've got 20 for Thompson this afternoon. 21 tomorrow. Sunny skies in Winnipeg, few showers. I did put a few showers in the forecast for Saturday, 15 degrees, 19 for Sunday, and temperature staying really right around that seasonal high of 17 to 20 degrees as we get into next week again. So we do dry out as we get into the weekend, and it'll be brighter.
Those temperatures, though, it's getting real now, isn't it, Riley?
Someone mentioned this to me earlier in the newsroom. It really felt like a hard turn.
Yeah.
From those 28-degree temperatures to like the wet fall temperatures.
Yeah.
It was
not
like that gradual fall. It was just like a chop.
Right.
Like
yeah, get ready.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Riley.
No problem.
That's CBC's Riley Leitchuk, our weather specialist, and he's also hosting the TV show tonight, CBC Winnipeg News at 6, so you can see his forecast there. Well, with the change of season, as we've been discussing, it also comes with a change in wardrobe. What kind of threads do you choose when you pick up a new item for your closet? Our next guest is a fashion designer who hopes you'll look for items that are sustainable, well-made clothing from high-quality fabric. And so joining us in studio is artist and fashion designer Leonard Taylor. He's going to answer your questions as well about fashion and how to make your wardrobe more sustainable. So give us a call, 204-780-0893. Again, 204-780-0893. You can also text us if that's better. Maybe you're at work or something and it's easier to text 204-588-7355. Well, nice to see you, Leonard. You've got a big show coming up tonight.
Hello.
Hi. So, yeah, you're unveiling your fall and winter collection tonight and tomorrow night. The show's called Unraveled, Unmasking the Threads of Time. Tell us about that concept and what kind of show will this be?
So my goal is to really transform the way that you dress yourself, because every single person has put on a great outfit and they feel better about themselves. They walk different, they talk different, they are different, they are transformed. And that's what our clothing really does for us. And to do that, you really have to understand your clothing from a fundamental, right? Because you have to understand where it's coming from, who made it, how are they treated, how are they feeling when they actually sewed the garment together, because those feelings, those memories are soaked in there. They're in there. So when you put on something that's fast fashion, you inevitably feel bad because the working conditions that person put that garment, they're not happy. they're having a bad time. They're working for, slave labor. There's over 150 million kids every year forced to work around the world. Most of them are in the clothing industry.
Wow.
Now, how does that make you feel, right?
Oh, that's awful.
And you're wearing that. You're wearing that stain, that societal wrong. And it gets at me. So for 18 years, I've been making clothing. I've been being as sustainable as possible, but I'm just one guy. And my whole goal is to transform the way that you dress yourself, because you are empowered by the clothes that you wear. And whether they're ripped, teared, they're stained, these can be fixed. And you can do it. And I can teach you how to do it. Or I can do it for you. There's always that. There's people that like my artwork and they want to see it. But that's what our clothing does for us. It really transforms the way we feel. And I love that transformational experience that we have with clothing. And I wouldn't change it for a world. And that's why the show is Unraveled, because it's really understanding what clothing does for you. And I have massive 40-foot sculptures that are made from textile waste. I've got different explanations about your clothing, how to transform it, how to recycle it, how to make it better, and how to make it work better for you, so that you have a capsule wardrobe in your closet that you can wear every single day. And no matter what you reach in that closet, it looks good on you. It empowers you. It makes you feel confident and aware and alert to have your best day, because we get this one life, right? This is it. This is all we get.
Yeah. Well, and how is it that, like, you talked about feeling more confident in those clothes and, feeling good in them and affecting your vibe? Like, how does that tie into the sustainability part of the clothing?
Totally. So, like I said, if you're putting on a garment which is made in slave labor conditions, that garment is made feeling that angst, that energy is transferred into the cloth, right? When you stain your clothing, when you wash something, like it has its own properties to it, right? And if you stain something and you paint over top of the stain, now you've empowered it, and maybe that stain came with a good memory, or you're at a party and it was really fun and your friend spilt some red wine on you. You can't get it out, but you want to remember that party, right? Just put some paint over top of it, and then boom, now you're the only one that really knows that stain is there, because it's covered with some paint. And it transforms your life, because every time you wear it, you can remember that great friend that happened to spill on you and that great party you went to. Like, we all have these things locked in our closets, right? These pieces, these garments that we love. We toured all over Europe in them, and we love them, but we'll never wear them again.
Right.
And they hide in these drawers. And it's like, what do you do with these clothes? What do you do with those clothes? They hide them in the drawers, and then you move them from place to place. What if you take them out and you make them into a sculptural work of art that you can put on your wall? And then you can remember all those times that you went to Europe and toured all over, and it's on your wall now as a permanent memory, because you're still going to keep the shirt. But now you get to see it every time you pass it in the hallway.
Yeah. Well, and also just like when you feel good in it, aren't you going to keep using it?
100%. Like, when people, I have a way of dressing people. I've 18 years of looking at people and going, this, and this is going to look good on you, and it's going to look good on your body, and this is why it's going to look good, and this is how you style it, and all these different things that, if you don't know how to dress yourself, come see me. I make it easy. I'll pick 15 things for you, have you in and out in 10 minutes, create a wish list for you. And then anytime someone's buying you a gift, I know exactly what you want and what's going to look good on your body. Because dressing is easy. You just have to do it in a capsule way that works for your body, your complexion, and your coloring, and your energy of who you are and what you're doing and what you're achieving. And I always say, when someone comes to me and they buy one of my garments, I said, don't you dare keep this in the closet and only wear it for special occasions. Mm-hmm. Because the special occasions, you woke up today.
Yeah.
And if that garment makes you feel good, wear it. Wear it every day.
Yeah, no kidding. So give us a call if you have questions about that, how to find the right clothing that works for you. Maybe find the garments, find local designers. Leonard is a wealth of knowledge on this. So the number to call, 204-780-0893, 204-780-0893. And for texting, 204-588-7355. Shoot us a message, 588-7355. So how important is it to support local artists and designers, Leonard?
At this time in history, it's more important now than ever before, because I'm an international artist. I have friends across the country, into the States, and artists are struggling right now, which is why I actually heard of an initiative that the government had in the 80s, that if you bought a piece of art from someone in the 80s, 75% of that was tax deductible. So how amazing is that? You're not only supporting the artists, and then you're getting a tax break. So I would love to see our government come back with something like that to support the artists, because right now the artisans are hurting because it's COVID, right? Everything happened. There was a lot of supports, and then it's kind of gone away a little bit. So if you enjoy the arts, go out to the ballet. The RWB has got an amazing season coming up. Come out to see designers like me. Go out to your local market. Buy the local produce that just makes you feel good, and if you don't have any connections to that, send me a message, join my mailing list. I'm always connecting people in this wonderful province, and it's just the best.
Well, and if you want it to stick around, you have to support it, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. If you want to see shops in your neighborhood, go visit them. And you don't have to buy a lot. You can buy a pair of socks, $12, something like that. These tiny little shifts, these little things go a long way. And definitely First Fridays is a great way as well to check out the arts.
Mm-hmm. And so where is your event tonight? And it sounds like it's kind of immersive.
Yeah, my shows sell out every year. So tonight's event is sold out. I might have a couple tickets left for tomorrow's event. I do back-to-back because they sell out both nights. And my event is a full immersive experience. You are coming into a different world. Your senses are all challenged and heightened. And then you learn a lot. For me, it's about educating people on how to transform their wardrobe from the inside out, because you have that power, that transformational shift in your life, that if you don't like your wardrobe, you can change it. And you can make it better, and you can make it so that it makes you smile and feel good every single time you wear it. And how powerful is that? It's amazing.
It's amazing. Absolutely. So if you have questions along these lines, fashion, transforming into more of a sustainable lifestyle through your clothing, what's happening tonight? Artists locally. Leonard is here to take your questions. The number's 204-780-0893. And the text line is 204-588-7355. I'll give you the phone number one more time, 204-780-0893. Well, we do have a text that came in from Dave. He says he's become completely disillusioned with recycling and says his sustainable clothes involve thrift shops and using minimal use of synthetic fibers. What do you think about that? The thrift store route and then also what kind of quality of fabric, Leonard?
I love thrifting. I think it's a great opportunity, and it's also a great opportunity to transform your skills as well. So if you find something thrifted and it's got a little stain here, or it's got a rip here, or the lining needs to replace, well, you can do that. You have that power. Everyone can sew. People that say, "Oh, I can't sew," it's like, well, you didn't try, because everyone can sew. If 150 million kids can be forced to work every year in the clothing industry, you can pick up a needle and thread and change your life with just simple little techniques, little embroidery things. You can patch over top of rips and tears. So thrifting, Dave, all for it, 100%. That is a great way to be sustainable. And where I would urge you and invite you would be to actually modify those garments yourself. So if you're coming disillusioned with the sustainability side of it, maybe you need to paint a couple happy faces on it here or there, or write something else on there that's a little note that, maybe on your back you wrote, I love you, even though I can't see you right now. Something like that, that somebody else is going to see it and go, wow, that's beautiful. That made me smile.
That is nice. That made me smile too.
Woohoo.
And then how about, how about the type of fabric too? Synthetic fabrics have a big impact on the environment, don't they?
We are just destroying our planet with these synthetic fibers. And, there's so much greenwashing that's going on in the industry. They're actually plastics that are made so that then we can recycle them, so that we can call them recycled plastic things. So we're actually building the plastic so that we can recycle it into something else. How idiotic is that? And we have huge textile graveyards all over the world. The biggest one I think is in Chile right now. That all these fast fashion, that it's not going away. Those when you alter those chemical, synthetic shirts, like you're altering them forever and they're going to last for an extremely long time. We don't even fathom how long they're going to have those in our society. Like we're going to be dead and they're still going to be rotting in that desert. Like we got to give ourselves a shake and really as a society transform this societal wrong of fast fashion. It's easy. We can all do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to give out the phone numbers again. 204-780-0893 is the number to call. To text is 204-588-7355. So let's talk a bit about, too, like, what does your collection look like? What kind of fabrics are you using this fall? What kind of colors?
So I love bold and I love neutrals. So I love the spectrum because we all need those things in our wardrobe, those capsule pieces that you can wear every single day, right? And then you want that statement piece, like you're going out to this event or you're going out on this great date. You want that piece that makes you feel even better, like, whoa, yeah. You know, because like, you know, it's hard to dress yourself to the nines every day. And I urge people, if that's your cup of tea, roll with it, you know, like you go as big as and bold as you want. But if you're the person that doesn't really care what you're wearing and just want to look presentable, you want those modern staples, those capsule wardrobe pieces that you're not going to stick out in the crowd, but you're going to look presentable, that if someone looks at you, they know that you took the time to center yourself in the morning and go like, I'm going to wear this and I look good, I'm modest, I'm comfortable.
Like the simple things like a white shirt and a black pants, you mean? Like...
Exactly. A white shirt and a black pants, button up, you know, my best sellers are my dress shirts because you can never be overdressed in a nice dress shirt. And no matter what scenario you're in, you can put it on and feel comfortable and feel confident. And then if you stain it, I've got your back. I'll paint over top of the stains or I'll teach you how to do it so you don't need me even. And nice. I know that's crazy to say, but that's how much the sustainability factor means for me, is that you wear clothes for life, not just a season.
Yes, he will help you maintain. So we have a text from Sylvie, and she's wondering, how come bed linens have thread count, but not for clothing? A higher thread count is better quality, right? So yeah, is that something you've wondered?
You know, that's a great question, Sylvie. I love it. I don't know the hot topic answer right now. But yeah, nicer thread counts, like you can feel a good fiber, right? And, you know, a lot of times if you close your eyes when you grab a garment or you grab, bed linens or something, just close your eyes and feel it. Just see if you feel something different when you put it in your hand. How does the fiber move? How does it play? How does it breathe? You know, all these different questions are great things to think about when you're putting something on yourself, you know, whether it's linens, it's cottons, it's all these different things. You want to be able to be breathable. You want to be comfortable. And you got to think of also the microplastics and things that are breaking off those clothes, especially in those synthetic fibers. You know, I put those on and I feel yucky. I feel gross. I'm like, ah.
And you sweaty. And
yeah, it's just not comfortable. And I will not
difference.
Put on something on my body that's not comfortable. And I honestly, I've been wearing stretchy pants for, I don't even know how long. Every single time you've seen me in the last 15 years, I've been wearing stretchy pants.
So yeah, what works for you is a good way to go. Well, we have a couple more texts here. Here's from someone who didn't leave their name, but they say they have a full closet of clothes that probably don't look great on them, but they don't know where to start with purging and also how to figure out what looks good. And they're wondering, where can they go to learn this?
Bring them to me. I would love to. So my collection that I'm working on, I've taken in all sorts of clothing, and then I sort them, cut off the pieces, put all the pieces together into a fabric, and then cut that fabric into new garments. So it's fully taking garments apart and then rebuilding them. So recycling them from the ground up. Then there's tiny little pieces left. So I get those professionally ground, and then I can make them into pillows and things like that. So if you got a closet full of clothes and you're not using them, bring them down to me. Get in contact with me, LenardTaylor.com. Send me a note. And I will do something with them. I've got a 6,500 square foot facility in the Exchange District on the 5th floor of 290 McDermott, and it's a huge space. And there's a textile graveyard in there as well that I'm butchering up with with my team members to make something beautiful.
And you could probably give them advice too on how to buy things in the future that might suit them better.
100%. I do consultations and things like that. If you need a white glove service and you want me to actually come to you, I can make that happen as well. You just get in contact. Send me a quick note saying, I heard you on CBC radio. I would love to know how to dress myself. I love that. But building capsule wardrobes for people is like my dream, because that's for me is going, you're fully committed to being as sustainable as possible, and I'm going to teach you how, and eventually you're going to say like, Leonard, I don't need your help anymore with my wardrobe, and I'm going to be like, cool, great. That means that you're winning and you're going to feel good every single day.
That's awesome.
That's what my biggest goal is. Like, I want to transform the way that you dress yourself.
That's great. And we do have a text also from Brenda from Inglis, and she's wondering about fair trade. You know, maybe it's not as available in Inglis, and she's wondering where she can get fair trade clothes, especially jeans. You know, a lot of the time that stuff is made in those factories you were describing.
100%. Brenda, great question. I would urge you to really do your research. Like, online is the internet is one of the best things that ever happened to society. It's also one of the worst things that's ever happened to society, because anyone in the world can connect with you now. And with that, there's a lot of greenwashing that goes on. So fair trade, they might say it's fair trade, but you really have to look behind the seams, pun intended on that one. So look behind the seams of where things are coming from, how it's made, what kind of fibers it is. Like, a lot of this information you can find just on websites. If you're not sure, again, connect with me, LeonardTaylor.com. I'm happy to assist and point you in different directions. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know, because that's how we learn, right? And we can find out different things. And yeah, it's just fun that way.
And then I'm just wondering too, because like, I would love to have that nice soft high thread count stuff in my closet, and you know, the really good stuff that you've been talking about. But sometimes it's a little out of my budget. Like, how would you recommend people who are on a more limited budget, you know, make their wardrobe more sustainable?
So for me, it's all about your commitment level. Like, where do you want to be? What do you see yourself as? Like, I'm interested in looking at you long term. Like, where are your goals in your life? What do you want to be? How do you want to be? And that's really a starting point for clothing. And yes, sometimes it is expensive, but there's different things. Like, for me, if someone loves my work and they want it, I will put you on a payment plan so that you can get that garment, because I want you to smile and feel good. You deserve that. Every single person deserves to smile and feel good in the clothes that they're wearing. So yes, sometimes you can't afford it. But there are, like, how many billion too many garments in the world? You need to thrift, you need to find, you need to modify, you need to pick up a sewing machine. And even if you can't afford a sewing machine, a needle and thread. That's how they started making clothing, and we can easily go back to it. I can hand stitch. I can teach you how to hand stitch. It's like I said, anyone can sew. And if you don't know how to sew, connect with me, LeonardTaylor.com. I will put you we'll put you on the mailing list for the classes when they're happening, all these different things, so that you can smile and feel good in the clothes that you wear.
That's awesome. That's great, Leonard. Thank you so much for that. His shop, by the way, is down at the Johnson Terminal at the Forks. And Leonard Taylor is an artist and fashion designer based in Winnipeg. His show Unraveled, Unmasking the Threads of Time happens tonight and tomorrow night at his studio in the Exchange District. Tonight's show is sold out, but you can still get tickets for tomorrow at LeonardTaylor.com. Thanks so much for coming in, Leonard. It was great
pleasure.
Chat.
My pleasure. And if anybody has any other questions, like, let me know. LeonardTaylor.com. I will help you out so that you can smile and feel good and have a big smile like you've got on your face right now.
It does make me smile. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Poplar River First Nation, let's get to know each other a little bit better. CBC's Communities in Focus is coming to your community September 23rd to 27th. I can't wait to meet you and discover the incredible stories that make Poplar River unique. CBC's Communities in Focus, September 23rd to 27th. Visit cbc.ca/Manitoba/community for details.
In 2007, TV network CBS dropped 40 kids in the middle of the New Mexico desert as part of a brand new reality show. And if this sounds like Lord of the Flies to you, it was meant to.
We were gonna prove to the world that we could make a better society than adults could.
I'm Josh Gwynn, and I want to know what this wild TV experiment was really about. Split Screen, Kid Nation, a 6-part podcast from CBC. Available now.
It's 12:57. Oh, coming up on 12:58 now. You're listening to Radio Noon on CBC Radio 1, 89.3 FM and 990 AM in Winnipeg. In Brandon, 97.9 FM. Snow Lake, 95.5 FM. And in Norway House, 1340 AM. Well, thanks to everyone who helped us put together the show today. Our studio technician is May McKillop. Our show director is Dylan Longhurst. And producing our CBC YouTube live stream is Kevin Nipatebo. I'm Emily Brass. I'm your host this week and next. So keep tuning in. Keep calling in with your questions. Next up is Quirks and Quarks. Have a good afternoon.